If you're tired of losing backleads, then this is the solution. I used to use these years ago when I was a young lad, when I was fishing at school and just after I left school, and it saves you spending more money on backleads that drop off when you're playing a fish. So these ones are made by a gardener, and all you do, tie your line to this, tether it to the bank, and then you just drag it back in. These will drop off when you hook a fish and strike. They won't slide down the line like the ones that you might be losing all the time. But I've got a plan. I'm going to tether it to this ring, which will in turn go onto my pod. Let me show you what I mean. So I've just attached a length of braid to this with a blood knot, and all I'm going to do is, from the tip of my rod, just for now, imagine that's my back lead in the water, and it's a rod length out from the tip of my rod. So from that rod length past the end of my rod where the back lead is sitting, I run the braid all the way back to my pod, and I'm just going to snip the braid right there, and then tether it to my pod with those rings I bought. And these rings I just got from eBay. They came in the post this morning. I got about 10 or 20 for 3 or 4 quid, and I thought I'll get black to match the pod. Make sure, measure them, or measure your pod, make sure these are big enough to loop over, and I think that will be perfect. There we go, just tied it to the braid. So I've taken off the buzzer, and I guess if you really wanted you could have it sitting on top there, but what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to have it sitting lower down so it's well out of the way of the main line on my reel. So there you go. Don't take a second to unscrew this, slide it on, and this will give you your captive back lead. No more paying out for new ones. So let's test it out just to make sure it works. I'm pretty sure it will. What I've done, my rig and my lead is hooked on the end of the decking there. Let's take this down. You have to adjust this, which is quite clever, because if you've got either £10 line or 15, it's a different thickness, isn't it, whichever size line you're using or whichever make of line. So you can twist this to clip onto your line. So it's hooked on my line. Let's lift the rod up, see if it does the job and slides out. Lift it up, and there it goes, sliding away. It worked perfectly. I'll show you. And so as I lifted my rod up, the back lead slid out all the way up to, obviously your lead is not going to be that close to your back lead. You'll be casting wherever in the lake, and then you can use your back lead as you need to. And then if you imagine you've had a take, you've struck, you're playing a fish, this back lead would have pulled off the line like that. So now the back lead is laying in the lake. What you can do, you go back to your pod. Once you've caught that 50-pounder, move that rod out of the way, oops. You grab it where it's attached to the pod. Hang on, it's round the decking. And then you retrieve, let's pull it in. Come on, back lead. come to daddy. So retrieve, retrieve, retrieve. You rescued your back lead. Don't need to pay any money out for new ones. And you're ready to go for your next cast. So that worked just as I wished it would, really well. I was just thinking, you could always have some kind of fast removal clip that attaches to this, so you don't have to undo your buzzers and bar every time to slide it on. So these Gardner captive back leads I used when I was a kid. I used them when I was like 16 years old, and that was a few years back, and they only just come into my mind recently. I was like, why am I not using these? Keep paying out for new ones, gonna end up with a lake full of leads and back leads. Get some captive ones. I know Fox do their own, and it comes with a kind of plastic thing that this braid would wrap around, so you can retrieve it and wrap it around and make it all nice and tidy. I think I might do something similar. I might make it out of like corkboard or something, and keep it all nice and tidy when you've got it in your tackle bag laying around. I mean, as you cast out and slide this down your line, this will pull out as long as there's no tangles. As long as it runs freely, it'll work every time. But when you pack it away, you want something to wrap this braid around, coil it up nice and neatly. I'm going to make 3 of these. That's the first one I've made. Going to do another 2, and on the back it shows you exactly what to do with them. Captive back leads that strike free of the line and are retrievable via a retaining cord. Ideal if you want a really heavy back lead but do not want the extra weight on the line whilst playing the fish. Exactly! Available in 2 ounces and 1.25 ounces. I think I've got the lighter one. It says lightweight, so I think I've got the lighter one. Tie the cord on mono to the eye of the back lead and the other end to a bank stick or pod. Ensure the cord is long enough to reach the bottom. That's the point. If you're fishing a deeper lake, you may want to make this braid longer. So that's a thought. Keep that in mind if you're going to have a go yourself. Set clip tension by twisting the barrel anti-clockwise to tighten. Clip to the line and allow the captive back lead to slide down the main line until the tether cord is extended and the lead reaches the bottom. I found these on eBay. I don't think many tackle shops sell them now because they're a bit old-fashioned. You know what, if anybody sees my video, Calder, thinking angling, any of you guys, do some of your own versions of these. They will sell like hotcakes. Or buy some of these and make your own.